Hey y'all, I have tried a million times today to make a video. Too pissed off. Yeah, before I forget, I want to show you a picture of my daddy. Can you see that? Yeah, can you see the resemblance? I mean, if you don't know I'm his daughter, you ain't right. That was the best influence I ever had in my life. Sure was. Even when him and my mama separated, I think I was about 7, 8 years old. I don't even remember. It was just not the best thing in my life. Um, he did his thing. He every week came over and handed her support money, and we had visitations Wednesday nights, and then every other weekend it rotated. One weekend it was Saturday, one it was Sunday, but he could have us both if he wanted. And then 2 weeks in the summer, and he held up with that until, of course, we all became smart ass teenagers, and didn't want to go hang out with dad and stepmom. I didn't like her anyhow. So, yeah, that's him. That's the guy that kept me from getting like the rest of them. You know, one day I'll pull up a picture of my mom and my other two sisters. There's a resemblance with them, but maybe only because I want to see it. Because I certainly, not 1 minute was like either one of them. That's why I say I was either adopted, but I look too much like him. Or maybe I am the oldest. Yeah. And I belonged to his wife before my mom. Well, I don't know. Anything's possible, because they had skeletons in their closets too. I got my granddaddy's metal box. They used to keep that metal box with shit locked in it. Well, when he passed, it went to my mom, and my hair went. I ended up with it. A lot of stuff in there. Ooh-wee. Certainly is. I have an older sister somewhere, older than the one that just passed. I know nothing about. We tried locating her, and we got real close, but then it went to a dead end. But yeah, there's a lot of, stuff like that. So it makes me wonder. Because I certainly did not end up like either one of my sisters. Don't get me wrong. I loved them. I loved them for who they were because we weren't getting anything else, but I didn't like them. Certainly didn't like them. I got along with them, when I had to growing up. But I think I told you all in a past video that growing up with the two of them was hell. But it was allowed by my mother, My dad, when they divorced, he didn't know a whole lot about what was going on. I wasn't going to run to him. I'm not a whiny, pissy little mouth. And it was rough. It was real rough, And, but my dad was always there, I could always get a hold of him. Well, unless he was at work, because, I grew up in the days of no cell phones, no pagers. They started coming out with them big, huge, like lunchbox size phones. You had to plug in your car and all that crap back then, but we didn't have any of that. But I always knew where he was going to be, and I could get a hold of him. And what? No dad like mine, I'm going to tell you right now. And then my granddaddy, my mom's dad now. My grandpa Smith, my dad's dad, I didn't know him a lot. I knew him. But he had remarried and lived in Pennsylvania. That's where my dad's from. So I got to see him, a few times. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a dozen. And then, of course, they pass away. But yeah, my granddaddy on my mom's side, yeah, him and I were buddies. They'd come stay with us. They wintered here in Florida. And then would come usually back to Ohio, stay in Ashtabula or whatever, and I'd go stay with them or however. But he'd get up in the morning, go to the table, have his shirt and tie on every morning. His teeth clean, his hair combed, sit there, put his hanky, tuck his hanky, you know, for napkin or whatever you want to call it, in to have breakfast. And then he'd get up. He'd say, all right, come on. So I'd go with him. He'd put a hat on me backwards, and we'd go out in the garage or wherever and start building things and fixing things and putting them together and taking them apart. And so, yeah, I spent a lot. He taught me a lot of that stuff. Him and my ex-husband actually taught me a lot of the tools and things like that. And then my stepdad was the one that was real tough about the housekeeping. And so that's where I got that. Isn't that funny how I got everything that I find is good and productive in my life from men? Well, I did learn how to cook. My grandma, my mother's mom, taught me how to cook. She was a good cook. So I guess that's where I get that from. But yeah, I always asked my dad, you know, and he would say, no, honey, no. I don't know if he was just saying it, you know, not to hurt my feelings. See how that sun's coming in and out of the clouds out there, guys? Sorry about that. But he would say, oh, no, you know, you belong to your mom and I. And it just makes you wonder. It really does, because of the different, I don't even know how to say, I don't want to say different levels because I'm no better than anybody, but I guess the different way our lives progressed, you know, it wasn't the best, but I don't use it for an excuse to be a fuck up in my life. There's no way. Because when I got to the age of making my own decisions, nobody was responsible for that but me. So if I would have messed up, it would have been a conscious decision. Yeah, that's what I kept telling my sisters and my youngest daughter. And with that, you don't understand. What do you mean I don't understand? You're a drug addict. What do you mean? Well, you don't get it. I said, here's what I get. You either stuck it up your nose, stuck it in your arm, smoked it, whatever. You didn't have to. And then, of course, after that, whatever it was, I said, because I'm not real schooled in drugs, took over. And then I get that part. Then you're fucking addicted. But you made that conscious choice to do it the first time. So no. Don't look at me and say, I don't understand. I understand. I don't get it. Why you did it the first time. I don't get it. And here's the thing. Everybody's like, but you smoke weed. Yes, I most certainly do. But you know what? I've never hurt anybody. Never shot anybody. Never stole from anybody. Never any of that. And neither has anybody. Hi, John. That I know. We smoke. We get happy. We get sleepy. We go eat. We go to sleep. We wake up. Unlike an alcoholic who gets drunk, does stupid shit, puts other people in harm's way, goes to bed, wakes up hungover, and has to start all over again. Of course, you know, drug addicts, I can't tell you what all they do because I don't get it. I stay as far away from that shit as I can. That's how it is. Hold on. I'll be back in just a minute. If I can get it to shut off.